90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days revealed, major relationship update. For Stig and Aviva ahead of big episode. The world of international romance has never been simple, but for Stig and Aviva, things have taken a turn that no one saw coming. As anticipation builds for the upcoming big episode, new revelations are already reshaping how fans view their relationship, and the truth is far more complicated than it first appeared. From the very beginning, Stig and Aviva stood out. Their story wasn't just another long-distance romance. It was layered with cultural differences, emotional vulnerability, and a sense that both of them were holding something back. Viewers quickly became invested, trying to piece together whether their connection was genuine or built on fragile expectations. Now, just before the next major episode airs, a significant update has surfaced, and it changes everything. Sources close to the couple suggest that Stig and Aviva are no longer on the same page. While their journey on screen shows moments of affection and hope, behind the scenes, cracks have been forming. Communication issues, trust concerns, and growing emotional distance have all played a role in shifting the dynamic between them. At first, their bond seemed strong. Stig appeared confident and steady, someone who knew what he wanted. Aviva, on the other hand, brought a mix of excitement and uncertainty, making their relationship feel both passionate and unpredictable. But as time went on, those differences started to create tension instead of balance. One of the biggest challenges they faced was expectation versus reality. During their early conversations, everything felt effortless. Long-distance relationships often thrive on idealized versions of each other, and that was no different here. They built a connection through messages, calls, and promises of a future together. But once real-life pressures began to surface, the illusion started to fade. Aviva reportedly began questioning whether Stig was truly as committed as he claimed. There were moments when his actions didn't align with his words, leaving her confused and emotionally unsettled. Meanwhile, Stig felt overwhelmed by the intensity of Aviva's expectations, unsure if he could meet them without losing himself in the process. This disconnect only grew stronger over time. Insiders revealed that a major turning point happened shortly before filming the upcoming episode. A serious conversation between the two forced them to confront issues they had been avoiding. It wasn't just a minor disagreement. It was a deep emotional discussion that brought hidden doubts to the surface. Aviva reportedly expressed concerns about trust. She questioned whether Stig had been completely honest with her from the beginning. While no concrete accusations were confirmed, the tension was enough to create a noticeable shift in their relationship. Stig, on the other hand, seemed frustrated. He felt misunderstood and pressured, as if he was constantly being tested. According to those familiar with the situation, he struggled to communicate his feelings clearly, which only made things worse. What makes this situation even more intense is the timing. This update comes just before a major episode that was expected to showcase a turning point in their love story. Fans were anticipating a breakthrough, perhaps even a moment of commitment or clarity. Instead, it now appears that the episode may reveal conflict, uncertainty, and emotional distance. And that's not all. There are also hints that external factors may have influenced their relationship. Being part of a reality show brings its own set of pressures. Cameras, public opinion, and constant scrutiny can amplify even the smallest issues. For Stig and Aviva, this environment may have made it harder to resolve their differences privately. Aviva, in particular, has reportedly felt the weight of public perception. She became increasingly aware of how she was being portrayed and how viewers might interpret her actions. This added layer of stress may have contributed to her emotional responses, making certain situations more intense than they might have been otherwise. Stig, meanwhile, seemed to take a more reserved approach. He wasn't as openly expressive, which created an imbalance. While Aviva sought reassurance and clarity, Stig often responded with silence or vague answers, something that only fueled her doubts further. As the upcoming episode approaches, one question remains at the center of everything. Are Stig and Aviva still together? The answer isn't as straightforward as fans might hope. While they haven't publicly confirmed a complete breakup, all signs point to a relationship that is struggling to survive. The emotional distance between them has grown and the unresolved issues continue to linger. However, there's still a sense of uncertainty. Some insiders believe that the upcoming episode could be a turning point, not necessarily toward a happy ending, but toward clarity. It may finally reveal whether their relationship has a future or if they are simply holding on to something that has already slipped away. For viewers, this creates a mix of anticipation and sinta. Because at its core, this isn't just about drama. It's about two people trying to navigate love under difficult circumstances. Their story reflects the challenges of long-distance relationships, cultural differences, and the pressure of living a very personal journey in front of millions. And as new details continue to emerge, one thing is clear. The next episode won't just be another chapter in their story. It could be the moment that defines everything. But what exactly happens during that episode? What was said during their emotional confrontation? And is there any chance that Stig and Aviva can rebuild what they've lost? Those answers are closer than ever, but they come with consequences that neither of them may be ready to face. As the tension between Stig and Aviva reached its peak, the situation became impossible to ignore. What once felt like a promising love story began to unravel in ways that were both emotional and deeply revealing. The upcoming episode captures this shift in real time. It opens with a noticeable change in their energy. The warmth that once defined their interactions is replaced by distance. Conversations feel forced, eye contact is limited, and there's an underlying sense that both of them are holding back. It's not just what they say, it's what they don't say that speaks the loudest. Aviva is the first to address the growing disconnect. She sits down with Stig, clearly determined to get answers. Her tone is calm, but there's a visible intensity in her expression. This isn't just another conversation, it's a moment of truth. She brings up the inconsistencies she's been noticing, pointing out specific times when Stig's actions didn't match his words. At first, Stig tries to deflect. He responds with short answers, avoiding direct confrontation. But Aviva doesn't back down. She presses further, asking him directly whether he's been completely honest with her. The question lingers in the air, heavy with implication. For a moment, there's silence. And then, everything shifts. Stig admits that he hasn't been fully open about certain aspects of his life. While he doesn't reveal anything dramatic or shocking, the admission itself is enough to shake Aviva's trust. For her, honesty wasn't optional. It was the foundation of everything they were building. Hearing that foundation crack changes her perspective instantly. She begins to question not just the present, but the past as well. Every promise, every late-night conversation, every emotional moment, they all start to feel uncertain. Was it real? Or was it something built on partial truths? Stig tries to explain. He says he wasn't intentionally trying to deceive her. Instead, he claims he was afraid of how she might react. Afraid of losing her if he revealed everything too soon. In his mind, he was protecting the relationship. But to Aviva, it feels like betrayal. This difference in perspective becomes the core of their conflict. Aviva values transparency above all else. For her, even small omissions carry significant weight. Stig, on the other hand, sees relationships as something that unfolds gradually, where not everything needs to be revealed at once. Neither approach is inherently wrong, but together they create a clash that's hard to resolve. As the conversation continues, emotions begin to rise. Aviva's voice starts to shake, not out of anger, but out of frustration and hurt. She explains how much she invested in the relationship, how deeply she believed in their future. To her, this isn't just about honesty. It's about trust, respect, and emotional security. Stig listens, but he struggles to respond in a way that reassures her. He apologizes, but his words lack the clarity and conviction that Aviva is looking for. Instead of easing the tension, his responses seem to widen the gap between them. It becomes clear that they're not just dealing with a single issue. They're facing a fundamental difference in how they understand relationships. Then comes the turning point. Aviva asks a question that changes everything. Do you still see a future with me? It's a simple question, but it carries enormous weight. Stig hesitates. That hesitation speaks louder than any answer. In that moment, Aviva realizes that the uncertainty she's been feeling isn't one-sided. It's mutual. The hesitation confirms what she's been afraid to admit, that their relationship is no longer as strong as it once was. Stig eventually responds, saying that he doesn't know. And with those words, the reality becomes impossible to ignore. The relationship is no longer built on confidence, it's built on doubt. What follows is one of the most emotional scenes of the episode. Aviva becomes visibly overwhelmed. She tries to hold back her emotions, but the weight of everything finally catches up to her. Tears begin to fall as she processes what she's hearing. This isn't just disappointment, it's heartbreak. Stig, clearly uncomfortable, attempts to comfort her. But the distance between them feels too great. His gestures come across as uncertain, almost hesitant. It's as if he wants to help, but doesn't know how, or isn't sure if he even should. This moment highlights the emotional disconnect more than anything else. They're physically close, but emotionally miles apart. As the scene unfolds, it becomes clear that this isn't something that can be fixed with a single conversation. The issues run deeper than either of them initially realized. Trust has been shaken, communication has broken down, and both of them are struggling to find common ground. And yet, despite everything, there's still a sense of unfinished business. Neither of them officially ends the relationship in that moment. There's no dramatic breakup, no definitive conclusion. Instead, there's ambiguity, a lingering question of what comes next. This uncertainty becomes a central theme. Because sometimes the hardest part of a relationship isn't deciding to stay or leave, it's existing in that in-between space where nothing is clear. As the episode moves forward, both Stig and Aviva begin to reflect on their situation individually. Aviva questions whether she can rebuild trust after what's happened. She wonders if love alone is enough to overcome the doubts she's now feeling. At the same time, she struggles with the idea of letting go, knowing how much she once believed in their future. Stig, on the other hand, begins to confront his own role in the situation. For the first time, he seems to recognize how his lack of openness affected Aviva. He starts to question whether he was truly ready for the level of commitment she was expecting. And perhaps most importantly, he begins to wonder if he's capable of giving her what she needs.